Am I the asshole for entering my coworker's office after he told me not to? I've been working in this office for 3 months, but because of space shortages, I currently share it with a coworker who just started last week. Even though he's new, he's technically my supervisor. Today, I was told I could leave early because I'd finished all my work. I stepped out for about 5 minutes to see if anyone else needed help, but nobody did. When I came back, there was a "Please do not disturb" sign on the door. Usually that means there's a meeting or conversation going on, and they can last close to an hour. The problem was, my bag with my wallet, water, and food was still in there. I didn't want to wait almost an hour to get it, so I asked another coworker for advice. She suggested knocking. I waited another 5 minutes, then knocked. He said, "Not right now." I knocked again to show I wasn't there for chit-chat, but because I actually needed something. Still, "Not right now." So I opened the door just enough to explain that I needed to grab my bag. It was literally one step inside. He immediately snapped, "I told you no," in a raised voice and basically kicked me back out. I shut the door and left, but I was so shaken I ended up crying in the bathroom. When his meeting was finally over, I went back in to collect my things. I was still upset, and he told me I had no right to be pissed. I said I only wanted my bag and that I have the right to access my own belongings. I suggested that if he's planning a meeting in our shared office, he could at least let me know so I can grab my stuff beforehand. He said he doesn't see it that way and doesn't need to tell me anything, and he kept pushing the point. At that stage, I was trying not to cry again, so I told him it's harder for me because I'm autistic. The second I said that, his tone changed. He softened and said he didn't know, and now it was fine. But it really bothered me that I had to disclose something so personal just to get basic understanding. Now I'm worried this could hurt my reputation. He's well liked, and I'm scared it'll get spun as me causing drama, especially since I've been socially excluded before because of my autism. Until now, this was the first workplace where I felt genuinely safe and included, and I'd even considered staying long term. Now, I'm not so sure. So, am I the asshole for going in after he told me not to? Too long did not read. Shared an office with a new supervisor. He had a "Do not disturb" sign up during a meeting, but my bag, with essentials, was inside. I knocked twice, explained urgency, and still got told no. Opened door to grab it quickly, got yelled at. Now worried it'll damage my work relationships. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Nah, fuck that. Talk to our. That is completely inappropriate. Not the asshole, but he is one. Talk to HR because autistic or not, it's a shared space. I would have walked in despite the sign and quietly gathered my things. Are you hourly? If he locked you out and you can't leave, then he has to pay for that time you were detained by his holier-than-thou attitude. Not the asshole. When you share an office, you are allowed to enter and exit as you see fit. If he had a meeting that couldn't be disturbed, he should have either notified you in advance, or had the meeting elsewhere. Not the asshole. Firstly, your office mate had zero business scheduling a meeting in your shared office without informing you. It's a shared space. Your autism has nothing to do with misreading the situation. They were in the wrong. Secondly, your office mate didn't change their tune because you explained. They did because their ass would be in the sling, since autism makes you part of a protected class in the workplace. You need to log this incident and any others, and if it continues to be a problem, notify Human Resources. Human Resources protects the company from legal exposure in the workplace, and you have protections under the AITA if you are in the US or similar laws in other countries. Not the asshole. Take it to our. Make sure they know you couldn't leave because he wouldn't allow you to retrieve your belongings, and if you aren't salaried, you expect to be paid for the time you had to remain in the office and were not allowed to leave due to his actions. Make it clear that you'll be lawyering up if they refuse. I bet it's all on camera and that things change then. Not the asshole. It's also your office, and his leadership style sounds atrocious. Like others are saying, this needs to go to our. He either needs an office of his own in line with his title, or he should be sharing with other leadership, to start with, but if you'll be trapped with him in that space, he has no right to deny you access to it. If he's doing something that requires that level of privacy, he can go find a conference room or empty office. Denying you access to your belongings or potentially to your own productivity for his own, singular convenience is unacceptable. Am I the asshole for telling my husband he was wrong for opening my Lorcana card boxes? I collect Lorcana cards. I have one box from each chapter set aside and sealed. I never plan on opening these boxes. My husband came up with the idea when I first started collecting. These boxes sit in our basement, on a shelf, in his streaming room, which he says is also my Lorcana room. I also store my card binders in this room. He started a stream about a year ago to sell Pokemon cards. When he realized how flooded the market is, he decided to take an interest in my Lorcana cards. Now he mostly sells Lorcana. I found out last night that he had taken some of my unopened boxes and opened them so he could have product to sell on his stream. He replaced the boxes before I noticed. Am I the asshole for telling him that was basically stealing? Not only was I upset he took the boxes and opened them, but he didn't even ask me, and I didn't even get to be the one to open them. He says it's fine because he replaced them. Not the asshole. Your husband is a massive awe. And he did not replace them, yours were earlier sets. Tell him to buy Ines from the same series, dates. He likely massively cheated you out of a lot of value. Not the asshole. I'm sure he would go nuts multiple times 83 if you were to do something like that with his stuff. I'm so tired of hearing about men who have so little regards for their partner's things. Not the asshole. Your husband definitely stole from you. There's no other way to look at it. He took your collection, took what was worth money and then replaced it with what is possibly worthless cards, at least on the market. It's just predatory behavior. Info. Did he replace the sets he opened with the identical set? I know Lorcana, as of now, has no reprints and he would need to buy from the original printings if he were to replace identical sets. Not the asshole. Firstly, he absolutely stole from you. He took something of yours without asking. It doesn't matter that he replaced them. Secondly, as a fellow Lorcana addict, no two boxes are the same anyway. What would he have done if he'd pulled an enchanted from your box? Sold it and not let you know? Even if he didn't and was honest about pulling it, he would have taken away the thrill of opening it and finding it yourself. I'd be totally livid if I were you. That's not basically stealing, it is stealing. He sold something that didn't belong to him. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he cannot bring his date to my wedding? 27F, I'm getting married to my fiancé, 26M, who I have been with for the last 6 years. Our wedding date is very soon, and last month I asked for all RSVPs to please let me know who they were all bringing to the wedding. My brother, 23M, did not respond to this, so I texted him to find out who he was bringing. He acted very nonchalant and he said, oh, it's just Carrie, 25F. Now me and Carrie have a very long history, but I will sum it up to the fact that she was my high school bully. I told him I'm sorry, but she will not be allowed to attend my wedding, and I stated that she bullied me throughout high school, saying things about me behind my back to several different people, to the point where I only talked to 2 people my entire senior year because of her. Just a week prior to this conversation that I had with my brother, I was talking with some of my friends who still live in our hometown. And one of my friends, let's call her Chelsea, 29F, told me a story about how Carrie had tried to get Chelsea's boyfriend to cheat on her with Carrie. I did tell my brother the story I was told from Chelsea about Carrie that happened 3 weeks before that conversation. My brother then stated that he would not be coming to my wedding if he could not bring Carrie with him. I said I'm sorry, but I will not have my high school bully attend my wedding. It's your choice to not come, but we would be holding a spot for him at the ceremony and reception if he decided last minute that he was going to attend. I also stated that if you would like to bring anyone else, he's more than welcome to, that she is the one person that I refused to have on my wedding. I told my mother that my brother had decided that he would not be coming to my wedding, and she cried and tried to get me to change my mind to allow her to come, but I just know having her in attendance I'd be super self-conscious about everything going on and more worried that she's gonna be talking shit about me behind my back to my family. So Reddit, am I the asshole for telling my brother that he cannot bring his +1 to my wedding? Update. For those of you that are suggesting that I have a conversation with my mom, and she has in fact cried to both of us about the situation. I have had the conversation with my mom and she has finally come to terms with the fact that if my brother wants to be there, he will, and if he doesn't, that's his loss. My mom is more worried about it putting a rift between me and my brother than the fact that Carrie was my high school bully. My brother stated that he had not dated anyone in the last 4 years and just got the courage to ask her to come to the wedding. And now he is more embarrassed to tell her that she can't come, that he would rather not go at all. Like I said, the wedding is very soon. I will update y'all again when the wedding is over on whether he showed up or not. Are you an asshole for refusing to invite your high school bully to your wedding? Oh hell no, not the asshole. You handled your brother's request to bring her graciously and firmly. She's not invited, and if decide not to come as well, you respect his decision and still he's welcome to attend. And your mother, oh please, she can turn off the manipulative waterworks. However, you need to have a contingency plan because your brother may show up with Miss Thing, so you need to be prepared to kick her sad behind to the curb. No, the thing about weddings is that they are about the bride and the groom. Not about the bratty little brother or the mom who would rather make excuses for him instead of support her daughter on her special day. I get that mom just wants everyone together, but she is directing her dismay at the wrong child. Your bother is an asshole. Try to enjoy your day. Not the asshole. Bro could bring a dead skunk from the side of the road to the wedding, and that would be less inappropriate than who he has suggested. Not the asshole. I can't help but wonder why this is the hill your brother is choosing to die on. He isn't dating Carrie, and doesn't seem especially close to her. So what else is going on here? Some speculation questions. Does he always need to be the center of attention? Does he not like the groom? What is OP's relationship like with him normally? Does he want Carrie to ruin the wedding on purpose? And again, why? And what's up with mom backing brother bringing Carrie? Is this a golden child situation? Not the asshole, this is your wedding. You and your fiancé must be comfortable at your wedding. Carrie must not be there. Have some friends prepared to escort her and your brother off the property if they show up together. Enlist close friends now who will have your back. Have a simple plan and a code word to have it put into action. Make the only drama of your wedding be that someone didn't get enough cake. May you both have a lifetime of happiness. Not the asshole, it's your wedding, not theirs. Am I the asshole for not paying for a wedding I'm not attending? I, 30 female, started a relationship with Joe, 31 male, in the middle of May of this year. Shortly after we started going out, he asked me to be a +1 to his friend Meg's wedding. I have never met Meg, but I agreed to go. We RSVP'd, and Joe booked plane tickets and a hotel room. A couple days ago, I ended the relationship with Joe. It's important to note that while money was not the main reason for the breakup, it was one of the things we argued about most. I am very frugal, perhaps to a fault, and Joe likes to spend money on creature comforts and trips, and often expects me to do the same. Joe lives at home rent-free, while I have my own apartment. I live pretty much paycheck to paycheck, with a small stash set aside in savings. There's still about 5 weeks left to the wedding. I ended the relationship when I did, partly because I didn't want to be in the pictures from the wedding and cause people to feel bad when they look back at those pictures. I am returning everything Joe left in my apartment, save a few things he was okay with me keeping. I also offered to pay for my plane ticket and my half of the hotel stay as a good faith gesture. It comes to over $400, which is just about everything I have in savings. Today, Joe contacted me and asked if I could pay another $125 on top of all of that to offset Meg's costs for my plate and everything at the reception. He says it's so close to the wedding, and since deposits have gone to vendors, I should pay my portion. I think that more than a month's notice is ample time for Meg to either fill the seat or for Joe to find another +1, who would also be benefiting from my paying half of the hotel stay. I also think that since I wouldn't pay that money if I was attending, then I shouldn't have to pay now that I'm not. It's my understanding that people not going to weddings after they RSVP is just one of those costs that's inevitable, and I'm at least doing Meg the courtesy of giving over a month's notice. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You should pay for the cost of your flight and nothing more. This fellow will still need the hotel room, and the bride and groom absolutely can remove you from the count. You dated this man for all of 12 minutes. When he decided to invite a brand new girlfriend to a wedding, he knew that he was taking a chance that it would not work out. Not the asshole, Joe's scamming you. I got married last year and vendors required a final tally like 2 or 3 weeks in advance, not more than a month out. If Joe is truly worried about offsetting Meg's costs, he'll let her know that you're not coming and she'll just adjust her spreadsheets, no big deal. I don't think you should have paid for half the hotel. They're his friends and he's going anyway. Not the asshole. I wouldn't pay the $400 either. The plane ticket, sure, that's in your name. But with 5 weeks, he could certainly change the hotel if he can't afford it all on his own. You're not the asshole, and I'm cynical enough to go out on a limb and say this request for cash is coming from Joe, for the benefit of Joe, not from Meg. Not the asshole. Who booked the flight? If Joe booked the flight, reimburse him for that only. If you booked your own flight, contact the airline about a reimbursement or credit for a future flight with that carrier. He still needs the hotel room to sleep in. There is no reason to pay for it. He's scamming you regarding the rest of the money that he claims is for Meg. She has time to modify her final count for the caterer. Give him money for the flight only and block him.